Ramen is life itself for all Japanese people. When you ask a Japanese person, "What's your favorite food?" it is said that 1 out of 3 will answer ramen, and the remaining 2 probably ate ramen yesterday. For Japanese people, ramen is not just food. It is a companion that appears in every stage of life, practically a partner in our existence. This is not a joke. In fact, the history of Japanese ramen is not very long. It is believed to have begun in the 19th century when noodle culture was brought from China. Until the 20th century, Chinese chefs served it as Chinese cuisine. After that, ramen shops originating in Japan began to appear one after another, leading to the modern ramen era. Because ramen does not have an ancient, rigid history, it has been free from unnecessary fixed ideas, constantly evolving into new forms. I believe this is the background that allowed Japan to become a ramen superpower. Of course, I also like Chinese ramen. Here are some typical situations in which Japanese people eat ramen. First, lunch, then dinner, or a snack. We do not judge by the appropriate time to eat, but by our level of hunger when a ramen shop enters our field of vision. It is also common to end a drinking party by going to a ramen shop. This is done to purify a body that has been overtaken by alcohol through the power of ramen. And every 10 years or so, a morning ramen boom arrives, which means we also eat ramen for breakfast. Ramen broth has a high salt concentration. The higher it is, the better it tastes. But drinking too much will make us sick. We say, "I had ramen yesterday, so I should take a break today." Yet before we know it, we find ourselves standing in front of a ramen shop. If we stopped drinking all the broth, the average lifespan of both men and women would probably increase by 10 years. However, from the perspective of social issues such as aging, we finish the broth. Japanese ramen has regional characteristics. Sapporo rich miso. The soup is made powerful to survive the cold. Miso is, well, like the younger brother of soy sauce. Hakata, tonkatsu. Thin noodles and you fill your stomach with extra servings. It smells like sweaty socks, but once you get used to it, the smell of sweaty socks will make you hungry. Kitakata, light soy sauce. Gentle flavor, recommended for beginners. The variation between shops is small, so you can enjoy it even abroad. These ramen styles are not exclusive to their regions. Of course, there are famous shops locally, but high-quality chain restaurants exist nationwide. The ones I introduced above are the usual top rankers, but they are only the tip of the iceberg. New ramen styles are born every day, yet old ramen styles never disappear. This simply means that the frequency at which Japanese people eat ramen keeps increasing. In our country, making loud chewing noises, showing the food inside our mouth, or clattering dishes loudly is considered bad manners. However, we make loud slurping sounds when eating ramen. We do not eat it elegantly like pasta. We grab the noodles with chopsticks, place part of them in our mouth, and suck in the rest. Who eats like this? Yes, we do. This is the most efficient way to eat ramen. Ramen is not something to savor slowly. It has aspects of fast food. Throughout our history, Japan has developed a food culture optimized for the efficient consumption of ramen. Which generations in Japan eat ramen? All of them. Yes, all of them. Regardless of age or gender, ramen is given equally to everyone. Even at steak restaurants, the kids' menu includes ramen. This is because giving ramen to small children guarantees their satisfaction. Ramen is not found only in ramen shops. At convenience stores, you can buy ramen that you heat in the microwave. This is not a downgraded version of restaurant ramen. It is a fully established genre called convenience store ramen. There is also ramen that you can eat simply by pouring hot water. Again, this is not a downgraded version of restaurant ramen. Instant ramen is a fully established genre. It is consumed when restaurants are closed and Japanese people cannot suppress their urge to eat ramen. In 2024, 5.9 billion servings were consumed by a population of 120 million. On the other hand, we rarely cook non-instant ramen at home. Ramen becomes soggy when taken out. Making a small amount from scratch is not recommended. You must simmer ingredients for a long time to make broth, and knead wheat flour to make noodles. And surpassing the quality of a ramen restaurant would take many years. If someone has that level of determination, they would probably open a ramen shop. This means the line between producers and consumers is very clear. And that means consumers do not really know how ramen is made. You can tell by looking at the broth. By the way, the broth is the true body of ramen. What has melted into this broth, what extracts are inside it. Consumers enjoy guessing these things. It is a kind of mystery food, providing not only nourishment but entertainment. In the end, what is the charm of ramen for us? Of course, it tastes good, but it also fills our stomach quickly and is inexpensive. And above all, the ingredients and methods used give each creator a strong sense of individuality. That is why we continue to create, explore, and depend on new ramen every day. And as it spread from Asia, it gradually began to permeate the world. Japan being overtaken by ramen was merely the opening chapter of what was to come.